14020 Torrance Avenue, Burnham, Illinois. Today is June 18th and it is 6 p.m. I would like to call the meeting to order. Can I have roll call?
Trustee Cap?
Here.
Trustee Bonner? Trustee Garcia? Yes. Trustee Greer?
Present.
Trustee Richardson?
Here.
Trustee Claybrook?
Thank you. Old business, discussion of, consideration of, and taking action on the appropriation of sums of money deemed necessary to defray all necessary expenses and liabilities of the Village of Burnham for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2020 and ending April 30th, 2021, and the specification of objects and purposes for which the appropriations are made and the amount appropriated for each object or purpose. So, I guess our new business will be starting appropriation.
Finish it up.
We don't have to make any announcement that all this stuff was done, because we've done it already. Everything was sent to everybody who wanted it and all that. That's all
That's
good.
why I removed it from the agenda.
Okay, so do we just continue, we're continuing on from Tuesday night's meeting?
Yes. I removed
And
that one.
because the police chief traveled the farthest, we will let him go first.
Good evening, everyone.
You might want to come a little closer.
Good evening.
We can hear.
Here.
Where would you like me to start?
We can hear you.
We'll probably skip the first few lines, maybe like right then. Where'd you go?
Outside services?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, you could go to health and dental and want to do that one, okay? Is that a good place to start?
Walking down.
Right.
Walking down it doesn't need to be.
Where are you? Oh,
One ending in 25?
got it. Okay.
No, that's not a good place. We could go
No.
farther down, right?
Yeah.
We still have some more.
Try police uniform allowance.
Okay, 80.
80.
One ending in 80.
That one's not good.
For the police uniform allowance, 7,500 like we appropriated the last time.
Okay.
good.
Yes.
Traffic safety paid.
$1,000, the same as the last time.
So, excuse me. His numbers are already entered on that column.
Oh, okay.
Everyone notices that?
All the way to the right.
Okay. No need to write.
The 457 pension expense of 6,000 to remain the same.
Okay,
Unemployment insurance, 3,000 to remain the same.
all right.
Medicare taxes, $1,000 to remain the same.
Okay,
Legal services, 30,000. Even though it's unused, to remain the same. Outside services, 120,000 to remain the same. Police, IT purchase, $1,500 to remain the same.
you want to hold up a sec? Pause, because it's Grace at the window. So why was that one so high last year, outside? What'd you do that your outside services were so high?
Well, the $120,000 covers, for dispatch. There was some other stuff, before, you'll see down the road, the GL was changed, for the ETSB. So the funds were used for outside services, and now we have another line item, that has been reduced from the last time. We'll get to that, shortly.
Okay. We're on police and we're about halfway down. And the one ending in like 37. Okay, all right. Thank you.
For police IT maintenance, asking for 3,000. It was 2,000, asking for an additional $1,000 for police IT maintenance.
Okay,
The MDT terminals for the vehicles, asking for $4,000, the same as the last appropriation.
all right.
The new GL account, that's what I was explaining with outside services, last year appropriated $48,000. All I'm asking for this time around is $40,000.
All right,
Professional consultant expenses, asking for $20,000. That appropriated the last time $20,000. No funds were used from that.
all right.
Police service contracted, asking for $15,000 from the last appropriation of $10,000. For police supplies, last appropriation $5,000, asking for $8,000. For office
Wait,
supply.
wait, no, no, no.
Wait,
Okay.
For office supplies, asking for $3,500, last appropriation $3,000. Publication expense, asking for $1,000, last appropriation $500. Purchase of office equipment and software, last appropriation $5,000, asking for $5,000 to remain the same. Vehicle purchase, last year appropriated $50,000. One vehicle was purchased, remaining $25,000 left, only asking for $30,000 instead of $50,000 from the last appropriation. Office equipment lease, last appropriation $3,500, only asking for $3,000 because we're leasing a little bit less equipment now because we have purchased new equipment. Vehicle repair and maintenance, because we only bought one vehicle instead of two vehicles, the vehicles get a little bit older, the repair cost goes up a little bit, but it has saved us money because we were able to redo about 6 vehicles instead of purchasing one of them. So instead of the $14,000 that was appropriated, we had to spend $30,000 in order to do that. All I'm asking for this appropriation is $25,000 to purchase only one vehicle instead of 2 vehicles. Radio maintenance, $500, remain the same at $500. Contract those services with cell phones and phone services, $6,800 was appropriated the last time, asking for $6,800 this time. Cable services, it's a new account. There was 0 appropriation for it. It was $178.35 that was spent, asking for $200 for that service. Dues and membership, last appropriation was $1,500, asking for $2,500 for dues and membership. Gasoline and oil for the police vehicles, appropriated $25,000 the last time because we spent $25,753.27, asking to appropriate $26,000. Police training, $3,000 less appropriation, so that stays the same. Last appropriation, appropriated $1,000 for health examinations. We spent more than that because we had to hire additional individuals. We shouldn't have to hire as many as we did the last time, asking for $1,500. Prisoner meals appropriated $1,000, like to keep that item the same at $1,000. Impound vehicle expenses for non-liable, asking for $1,500, appropriated $1,500 the last time. IT purchases, appropriated $1,000, asking for $2,000 this time. There's some computers that we're gonna need to replace. Small equipment purchases, appropriated $500, asking for the same again. Major Crimes Task Force, $1,000 for dues to remain the same. $1,000 in contingencies to remain the same as the last appropriation. Due to some open salaries that we don't discuss here, taking that into consideration, we should probably be around $80,000 to $90,000 under budget that we had appropriated. Is there any questions?
I do have one question. Just to back up to 41, where it says vehicle repair and maintenance. And you said that this is the repair, but I but I also thought, I heard you say that you may need to buy an extra car from them.
So every year, as far as, that I can remember going back, we've always, the police department has always requested for 2 new vehicles every year. We went with 1 vehicle last year, and if we would have spent the money on 2 vehicles, we probably wouldn't have had the funding at that time, knowing that we were under budget in order to fix our entire fleet.
Right,
So
but the
now-
only reason I raised that question, because in vehicle purchases for 30,000, we had mentioned that would be for a purchase. Then we got down here, and I thought you.
You did make a
explained-
mistake, I think you mentioned purchase instead of maintenance one time.
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we made 1 purchase, and we did all the maintenance. For this time around, we had appropriated 50,000 last year. All I'm asking for is 30,000 for this year, so that we could purchase only 1 vehicle. So instead of asking for 2, all I'm asking is for 1, because I think our fleet should get us, through this fiscal year.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next page.
Oh. The next one is gonna be for the police and fire commission. We have to have an eligibility list, so sometimes there's examinations that we have to do, and through this fiscal year, we'll probably have to do the examinations. It is showing that we are under budget. So I'm gonna ask for the same amount appropriated for the last time, this time around, because I do believe that we'll have to use all of that. So basically, for the administrative expense, 100 was appropriated, asking for the 100.
I think you could skip it.
Yes.
Everything stayed the same, right? We don't need to go over it. He's asking for what he asked for last year.
With 0 changes.
Yeah, that's okay with me, right? You guys all okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
And just to let you know, the entire appropriation would equal $16,200 for the police and fire division.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, which was under budget $11,040 for the record. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful night.
Well, I have one question though.
Yes.
So the total appropriations on the first page for last year doesn't really match what you want for next year. At 1,632,000, and the other side it's 1,675,000. You guys see what I'm talking about?
Right,
He's
but
saying- He's saying he's asking for no increase, but he really is.
no, because those salary are input in there, but we have to discuss that later.
Oh, okay.
It's a total.
So you'll actually see that it was like $190 or $168,000 under budget. There's a reason for that, with the salaries that we're not discussing. So if you
Okay.
take that in consideration, there should be between 80 to 90,000 under budget, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
It doesn't show it, that's my point.
Right.
Good job, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Otherwise, there's a couple that we can tweak a little bit. There's a couple that we can make. Okay.
So that's why I wanted to discuss.
There's a couple that he has a little fudge back there.
Oh, okay.
I think you have to be sworn in.
I'm not the only one messing with it.
Yeah, lighten the mood a little, right?
You could have moved up a row too.
Hey, I'll move up.
Yeah. I don't know why Nick went so far back.
You want Chris to sit here next time?
I wanted to put him right in
Right.
the middle here.
But he needs a table.
Okay, all right, let him stay there.
Pretty.
I would have had Mr. Johnson move
Yeah,
that
put him in the hot seat.
and set up the spotlight too. We didn't set up the
Right,
spotlight.
exactly.
Make him a little cool.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Very humble and thankful to be in front of you guys today, and look forward to leading the department into another year. So thank you for your leadership, everybody. would you like me to begin, sir?
Probably the one ending in 50, the Medicare Fire Department or Legal Services.
Yes, that's
Is that a good spot?
right.
Past the pension.
We wanted to make it a note though, just, I think on line 1, 2, 3, 4. Chief?
Yes.
Make a note of it?
Yeah, make a note, the fire chief allowance, I'd like it to go to the deputy chief.
Did you want to split it or you want to?
No, I give him the full amount.
We just need to,
Make a note of that.
we need to change it. The name of it, you know.
We can make a note of it when we do our salary and then do the appropriation. Is that? So it's noted.
So where it's the amount for deputy chief and we would put the amount for that.
Right.
Is that just under salaries or is there?
Under salary line and the appropriation.
So they're not broken out by?
So prior, it used to be the allowance for the fire chief, and he's suggesting it to be changed to the deputy chief to get the allowance.
I think he's deserving of it, and I think it's, he's worth it, so.
Thank you.
Where did you see that? I'm sorry.
One below that, we could do, right, the pension expense? Or do we don't need to? The Medicare Fire Department, the $100 one, we could start there.
So what is the pension, what would we do with that?
That's the portion.
I'm sorry, what's the question?
For the monthly, the monthly,
What we need to split it for?
right, 457. The
Like
village
our
portion.
fees?
No, the 4%,
The matching,
Oh.
right?
Yeah,
The matching.
Or
30.
just for the chief?
and the
3142 a month.
the chief, the allowance, and the custodial.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all this, the whole deal.
There's only three, well, there's 3 items, but it's only paid out on 2.
See, trustee.
So then we were at the Medicare Fire, that $100 one? is that-
$100, leaving it the same at 100.
Okay,
So his items are on the right too.
okay.
Legal services special counsel, 1,000, keeping that the same, 1,000.
Okay,
Fire services contracted, 5,500, asking for 6,000 due to the dues increase through the division each year, and also any box alarms that are called when you get aid from other towns and you call, they actually charge you a fee through Tinley Park Dispatch Center, so that would cover that in case we need that.
We can't go to South Holland,
What's it?
I mean, we have to go to South Holland.
Tinley Park?
Okay, South Holland.
Oh, yeah.
we had a big fire the other day, everybody was there, the one by South Suburban,
Yeah, the,
the paint, oh, the
Yeah,
Gerber.
Gerber collision,
and all
yeah.
the Indiana
Yeah.
fire departments were there, were we there?
yes, yes.
Like all the Indiana ones, like Munster and stuff, they all sent names
Next one's office supplies, 850. Would like to keep it the same at 850. Natural gas, I'm told it's not an appropriation, is that correct?
Natural gas? I thought you pay natural gas.
Yeah, I have a note here, not
Oh,
an
okay.
appropriation, I'm not sure.
Right.
I have 1,300 and we're
Yeah.
keeping it at 1,300.
Yeah, that's, okay.
Vehicle purchase, 3,500, requesting to keep that at 3,500. Vehicle repair and maintenance, 3 out of 4 of our engines are over 20 years old. Our newest engine's actually 13 years old now, so it's very important to keep them going and any unexpected maintenance. So I think it's appropriate to request a 12,000 and keep it the same at 12,000 for this coming budget year.
Okay.
Radio maintenance,
So you would want to move it to 15, maybe? You okay with the plan?
12 is okay. We got some handy firefighters.
What about grants? Are you always looking at those?
Oh, yeah, we actually have a member now. He is gonna help us tremendously on grants, Dave Seda. He was a member of Calumet City, and he's also works well with grants, so he's gonna start working with that, so that'll help tremendously.
Not that I don't think there'll be any money this year, but maybe next year for,
Yeah.
I think the federal government might.
Radio maintenance, that's to keep our pagers and radios going. We had $1,000 last year. Budget year asking for the same $1,000. Equipment maintenance, no change from the previous budget year. This is just to keep our equipment safe and working properly for our members. So when they're called upon, they're ready to serve the citizens safely and able to mitigate the scenes. So 3,000 last budget year, 3,000 this budget year. Phone service was $6,240, requesting to keep that the same at $6,240. Gasoline and oil for the fire vehicles was $5,000 last budget year. I think we could make it at $4,000 this budget year. Training, 2,400. Last budget year, 2,400 requested this budget year. That's gonna serve, we have a new training platform. And it, not only does it help us on-site, but being volunteer, off-site as well, we can deliver training to people's computers now and phones to keep us compliant. Health examinations, I'm really hoping to hire a couple new members, and that's 2,000 last budget year. And the 2,000 this budget year would stay the same. That would have those new members examined, which is required. Uniform expense was $1,250, asking to keep that the same this budget year at $1,250. That is for a new program I'm gonna do through Lions Gear. It sends all our fire gear to Lions, inspects them, cleans them, which is required, and they'll do it twice a year, and that amount will cover that. And that's also taking the cancer very seriously, and that will try to decrease the risk of cancer for our members as well. Small equipment, I had $10,000 last budget year. I'm gonna decrease that to $4,000 this budget year. Thanks to Mayor Polk's leadership, Trustee Greer, and everyone, we were able to get all our members the proper PPE through the small equipment, so we're now all up to date on the PPE, so I'm very thankful for that. So, and I will get down to a couple line items where we put that 6,000. Funeral, fireman's funeral assessment, that was 1,300 last budget year, requesting 1,000 this budget year. That's the yearly assessment for if any member passes away. Contract emergency medical services, that's $35,000 last budget year. Requesting to keep that the same at $35,000. EMS equipment and supply is $6,000 last budget year. I took that small equipment money and put it in EMS equipment because due to the pandemic and a potential second wave, I think it's important to have the funds necessary to equip the members with the proper PPE. And we may need a new AED depending on a grant, so that will cover that.
I have a question. So
Yes.
This 151, 132, what's this on this?
That was the SCBA grant that was awarded to us, and that was at $134,000, and that was just line itemed into that. But that was a grant we received. Building repairs and maintenance, our firehouse is approximately 70 years old, so it's always important with upkeep. And once again, even with the rigs, we have a lot of handy firefighters in the firehouse that help mitigate the costs during the year, but we definitely can use that 7,500 we had last year into this year as well. Fire inspection expense is 500 last budget year, requesting 500 this budget year. And contingencies was $1,000 last budget year, requesting $1,000 this budget year.
Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody stay safe and healthy.
So on the admin, I didn't put in the cell, you know, like, it's all on the right side. Do you wanna start with, so it's admin?
Probably go down to the pension one again, down below that. Pension, you know, the insurance, you wanna start with that one?
And we started the HRA expense, cause that one's just,
Oh, okay.
the suffix is 26. The first number that starts on the right,
Oh, I'm good, no, I see, but it was 3,000, you wanna leave it 3,000?
yes.
Which one is that?
The first number that's on the right, the HRA expense,
Oh.
so leave it at the 3. Next, the compensation for special meetings, bring it down. Last appropriation was 2,000, put it to 1,800. To lower it, because I just divided it by, for the month.
We only spent 1,000 last year. Yeah, that's okay.
Down to the longevity on the department, to 3,000. Last year was 2,500. Then down to the 457 pension. Appropriation was 7,500 last year. I recommend the 7,900. We spent 78.
Okay.
Village insurance, building and auto, our umbrella for all departments and everything. We appropriated 251,000. Say leave it at 250.
Okay.
Workman's comp. We appropriated 73,000, spent 94,000. I proposed 90,000. Unemployment insurance, we appropriated 1,000, leave the same, proposed. Medicare taxes, we appropriated 20,000 last year. I proposed, we spent 20,444. I proposed 21,000. Village attorney legal expenses, we had appropriated 96. We spent 96,340. But if you, increase one of those. Right, and that's so, and that's the 126 divided it by 12.
Okay.
Which is proposed. Other attorney expenses, we appropriated 15,000, I proposed 10. We didn't use any of the funds. appropriated 65,000 last year. We spent 36, I proposed 55. Audit expenses were appropriated last year for 40. We spent 31, I proposed 40,000. Outside services appropriated 7,000, spent 9,500. I proposed 10,000. Engineering expenses, we appropriated 60,000. We spent 18.
Engineer, what's this, something around with, something MFT, so what are these expenses that were?
Engineering expenses is usually relative.
But then when you know.
I'm sorry?
You know, the area that would be expensive would be related to,
I can,
I said, would you know of any other area that do the expensive would be related to 40?
for which account?
The engineering expenses, cause many of the.
Engineering expenses
come from
is all
MFT.
Robinson.
Okay, so that would be minus what comes from the MFT,
That's the question, once those projects are done, they may or not, may not be eligible to be transferred, right?
right, okay.
But we only spent 18,000. Right?
You don't know which projects are done.
Right. But no, but if it's appropriated, if Robinson bills us for an MFT or CDBG, then it's debited from that GL for the MF or
But
the
some of the projects are
CDBG.
done, if they're MFT
Right.
qualifiable, they can be paid through there, you can then transfer it back.
Well, you're right.
But I don't know which ones are or are not qualified.
We have to go through. Okay.
So I propose a 40.
And on audit, going back to audit, why is that so high? I'm just curious as to audit expenses.
That's out by contract from Lauterbach or Neiman.
That's what they're charging.
That's what they charge.
Contractual service grant program, we appropriated 31,500. I propose we leave it the same. Advertisement and publication, we appropriated 2,000. I say we remove it because we have it further down in publication expense. IT maintenance, we appropriated 65,000. Bless you, spent 83, almost 84, bless you. I would propose that we,
That would also probably upgrade some of the equipment that we need, because we're not have to do it again.
so this IT maintenance includes our Tyler software that we,
Oh, Tyler, okay.
our website, and any maintenance that IT does. It's separate than those purchases that we did, like, which is
Okay.
further down. Scavenger contract with Homewood, we appropriated 223,500. We spent 227,000. The average is like 19,000 a month. I propose we appropriate 228,000.
I'd rather not make
That's
any-
garbage pickup? You don't
Right.
think it's gonna go up more, though? You know,
It'll go up in
the more
February.
garbage that
Yeah,
they're
they
picking up now with
3%.
everyone being at home?
Pardon me?
With everyone being at home, isn't there more garbage now? You
There
know,
has
they're
been,
gonna
but
raise
the
it?
contract says every February, it's a flat, which you sign, and then it increases in
Oh,
February.
they can't charge more?
Pardon me?
They wouldn't be able to charge more?
No, it's per
Once we get
pickup.
this money back, because we're charging the residents for the garbage.
We did,
We're not
no,
making any
we're
money
not
on
getting,
the
we're not
county.
making any money on garbage.
No, I mean,
No, we pass that service straight to the
Right.
resident, we don't,
Right.
what they bill us for the pickup, the resident gets
Right,
charged.
but I mean, it's not like it's coming out of our pocket. It's
Well,
coming through.
If
It
they don't
will,
pay,
it
if they
will
don't
if it's
pay,
past
yes,
due.
it is coming out of our pocket.
It's coming in one pocket, out the other. Hopefully.
That's if everyone's paying, right?
Right. Office supplies, we appropriated 7,500, I propose 8,000.
Okay.
Postage expense, we appropriated last year 6,500, I propose 8,000, because now we're billing monthly. Publication expense, we appropriate 800, I propose 2,000. appropriated last year 19,180. I propose we, put it down to 15,000. We spent 15. Office equipment purchases, we appropriated 1,000, leave it at 1,000. And office equipment lease, we appropriated 8,000, we spent 64. I propose we leave it at 8. Office equipment maintenance appropriated 1,000. I propose we leave it. Phone services, appropriated 17,000. I propose we, propose 21,000 for phone service, spent 20. Cable service, we appropriated 2,000. I propose 3,000.
You don't wanna go higher than that, because you spent over 3,000 last year. I'm gonna take that one out.
Let's see.
Don't sell you
Short.
sell short to start with, right?
Contract.
Unless you expect it to go down, but it won't.
Contractual service, cell phones, appropriated 1,500. I propose to put it down to 1,000.
Okay.
Dues and memberships appropriated 5,000. We spent 2,300. I propose it to go to 2,500. Adjudication, 500 appropriated. I say we leave it. That's just in case the impound gets reimbursed. Inspections, building permits, we appropriated 3,000. I propose we leave it the same.
Okay.
Food inspector, we appropriated 2,000. I propose we leave that as the same. Interest on loans, $100 appropriated, leave the same. Medical and testing supplies, appropriate 100. Propose we leave that the same to 100. Register over and short, we appropriated $50 last year. I propose we leave it the same. Surety bonds, appropriated 1,000. I propose we leave that the same also. IT purchases, we appropriated 15,000 last year. We spent 35. I propose we leave it at 15,000 because out of those IT purchases, we purchased a sonic wall, the cameras in those 3 areas, and our yearly domain for the website, for the.
That would not have to be repeated.
Correct. We wouldn't do that again. Condemnation and demo of buildings, we appropriated 5,000 last year, didn't use it. I propose 2,000 unless you see other. Do you?
We demolished that garage or whatever, we should have invested $1,000.
Okay. Vehicle and pet licenses, we appropriated 500 last year. I propose we leave it the same. Library services, we appropriated 3,000. I propose we leave, put it down to 2.
Go back to 3, because you
3?
spent 2,900. So you fell short again.
I did, thank
You
you.
goofed on that.
I did. Thank you.
But leave it the same is good.
Community events, we appropriated 8,700. I propose we leave it the same, we spent 98. I don't know what this comes.
We might not have any.
Leave it the same or not, or?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Merchant card expense, appropriated 12,000. We expensed 15,000. I propose 16,000. That's the fees, the processing fees when we run your Visa or MasterCard for payments. We haven't passed
And
that
it's
fee
gonna
on
be
yet.
even more because they're
Right.
using it more now
Which we will, as soon as we get online, we will be passing that on.
Mhm.
Right now, you're not passing on the fees?
No,
No.
we do have that as an ordinance, but based on everything that's going on, we're not gonna pass that on. And once we have the ability to put it all online and emails and that, then I think it'd be fair at that point.
Some of those banks send you a check and you avoid that, right? Aren't some people set up that?
So, yeah, they mail the checks, yeah. Garbage disposal expense, we appropriated 200 last year. I propose to leave it the same, the 200. Contingencies, we appropriated 1,000. I propose we
both at the same time.
Okay.
She was close.
Roll call. Trustee Cap?
Yes.
Trustee Garcia? Yes. Trustee Greer?
Yes.
Trustee Richardson?
Yes.